Yeah, so actually sat down and jumped in on MK1 this week. Starting from not knowing a ton, picking it up, seeing what's going on here. Um, okay, so really glaring oversights, like right up top. The plan, as per usual, is to kind of like jump in, mess around, hit some buttons, do some matches, and then eventually jump online. But no lobbies right off the bat is wild. It's a really bad oversight because the only way to play people is to queue up randomly in casual or ranked, or to go private to your friends list and add people on your friends list. But you could not just play a match with like somebody watching on stream, for example, or someone else in the community without having them directly on your friends list.
That's really bad. That's really, really bad.
Real bad oversight, because I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and add everybody to my friends list to play with today.
So that I can delete them afterwards so they can't look at what games I'm playing because they're gross freaks.
It just, that's not going down. And then, like, yeah, no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't see anything. Now, if I was on PC, I guess I could have done like a parsec style situation.
Oh, that's still very awkward. I didn't know about this. That's really bad.
No lobbies, other previous MKs had lobbies, so maybe it'll come in a later update, but it seems like a really bad oversight, and like that's a bummer because I didn't, we couldn't experience, like, I'm like, okay, the last part of this is like, show me what this game is supposed to look like show me anyone who plays it, come jump in, let's go on, so yeah, no real ability to play with the community. And then that got me kind of thinking, I guess, that like it is there's some games that are like depending on the genre, some competitive genres have like 3 layers of like online play, right? They have friends, private, they have community, and then they have raw open public,
Yeah,
and
that's how I would assume it to be done on most multiplayer games of any kind, honestly.
Yeah, and that middle area is pretty important. Like old multiplayer games didn't have it, but now we've come, quite a long way to the point where it's like people who want to play together that are from the same community, but aren't necessarily, again, on each other's friends list entirely.
Oh, you mean like how Titanfall, you can just run private matches in the easiest way I've ever experienced in a game in my life?
What lobby do you want to join? Do you want to invite the entire lobby to play with you? It's that simple,
I couldn't believe how easy it was to run match made and custom games with people inside the network in Titanfall 2. It's the best party / group / community system in any game I've ever played.
I fucking wish that were possible elsewhere. Also, even just like any in Street Fighter 6, right? The CFN system, when it's like, I remember when CFN first got introduced and like was like held together with sticks and fucking twine, and like now it's like, oh yeah, you have a comprehensive way to go search people, find people, watch replays, add them, or don't, challenge them, jump in the room. You know what I mean? There's all these ways to interact with people that are like looking for matches that are not just the open, most raw, random search, and also the person that is like directly on your friends list. That middle step is really good and really important. So yeah, man, that was a big bummer, definitely. And then beyond that, I mean, yeah, it was Mortal Kombat. It was doing its stuff. And
what's the unlock situation like?
So Havoc is locked by default, so you have to go through story mode to get Havoc.
Just Havoc?
As far as playable characters go, it seemed to be that the character select screen was only missing him.
Havoc is really?
Yeah. There's Shang Tsung, who you buy $10, and then there's the combat pack with the 5 characters you buy $50. And
wait, what? Whoa! Back up! Back up!
Oh man.
Who is in the combat? What the?
Okay. So playable characters. I'm not talking about cameos yet.
Yeah.
Havoc you unlock in the story, and then Shang Tsung is a separate DLC, and then
the most important fucking character in the whole game.
And then there's a combat pack with all the superheroes and the tie-ins.
That's the DLC thing.
The Omni-Man, Takeda, etc.
Right.
The pack of 5, and that's a $50 purchase.
That's
wild, absolutely wild.
Hey, I want to put my personal distaste for the gameplay of Mortal Kombat aside. That seems ridiculous.
The cost of a full game for just that. And I'm looking back on the controversy that was half the roster of BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle being sold, and it was like, what was it? Was it 30 or 25?
What was a third of the roster in Cross Tekken? Was that like 15?
I mean, it's insane. And then cameos. So the cameos that you unlock in the story, there assists,
right?
They're assists, exactly. The assists, there seems to be maybe like 6 or 7 on the bottom row that are unlockable. With like maybe, if I remember, maybe like 10 are already there. And then you get cameos that are going to come out in the future as well with the DLC packs. But my God, man, the fucking pricing is wild. But it's also the WB ass pricing of, we know who this appeals to. We know we can get you now. We know we're not going to get you later, and that's how we're going to push the game out. And I think it's kind of clear too. Like, they're aware that like Mortal Kombat, the best-selling fighting game, is really like, it's not made for the competitive or community really. In when they roll this out, that stuff might come later once the very huge casual market has stopped playing and the only people left are the community. Then they might start rolling out features like this and putting stuff into play and putting out like a tour and like, let's handle the people that are still around that support it. But that initial
I don't know,
push,
man. Having the cost for the characters being this high in a game that doesn't have lobbies just seems backwards.
But my point is that like, but they know that like, new Mortal Kombat, bunch of fatalities, yada yada, casual appeal, wild shit. It's up. It's broad. It's fucking broad. So
yeah, it's closer to Smash Bros than it is to Street Fighter in terms of mass appeal.
Yeah. So no, my point is that they're getting that shit in now while they can bilk the fuck out of everybody, because they know that this audience is not going to stick around for a long time. They're getting theirs, and they're charging you the cost of a game for the DLC after you bought the full game. It's fucking insane, what am I kidding myself about? I'm like, this is WB being fucking insane, ridiculous with it. So I don't think I don't know if there's ever been a worse bang for buck, like, character DLC pack whatever ratio ever.
It's pretty bad.
And
how many characters are in the standard roster?
It's 3 sections of 6 or 8, maybe.
People are saying 23, 24, 24.
Yeah, I want to say 8, 16.
Okay.
Probably about that.
Are you talking Canadian dollars here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 100 divided by 24 is equal to $4 a character versus 50 divided by 5 is $10 a character. So those DLC characters are worth more than twice as much as the standard roster.
Shang Tsung on his own was $9.99.
That's so fucking ridiculous. I have to say, like, Mortal Kombat picking like the character that everyone wants the most, like Shao Kahn or Shang Tsung or whoever, to be the DLC. You gotta buy. It's so gross.
Yeah.
M. Bison only on pre-order. Like, shut up.
And Well, here, hold on. I saw this just said 0 of them are. Yeah, well, hold on. Isn't Ashura a new character for MK1?
No, no, she's from MK Deception.
She's from Deception as well. Okay, then
Yeah,
not
she had a hat.
Then not a single character is new. They're
Yeah,
all
no,
returning
I was
characters.
talking about this on social media a little bit ago, and I was like, wow, the Mortal Kombat 1 storyline of a completely new universe with a completely new timeline, and every character has a different backstory to end up with a roster of 0
It's
new
funny.
characters.
It's funny because like in Tekken, you really feel it when there's no new characters because of like, you know, they pretty much carry themselves forward the same way across the franchise as each new number iterates and it replaces the last one. But in Mortal Kombat, like they're basically reinventing garbage. You know what I mean?
I'm torn. So I made fun of that, and then I thought more about it, and it's like I'm kind of torn because I've seen New Havoc a million times better than old Havoc.
They're reinventing garbage.
Functionally
yeah.
New.
So
But
that's
it's the scope of what the story says it is so broad. It just makes Liu Kang look so uncreative. It makes Liu Kang look so like Liu Kang. You remade a whole universe, and Shang Tsung still turned out evil.
So I don't know the story, and I'm legit curious to see like what goes down and how or whatever. But yeah, the idea off the bat that, you know, the intro puts out there is everyone can achieve peace if they choose to. But it's like you're writing the like I just, what the fuck is the reason besides you being an asshole for things to turn out shitty again anyways, right? Like that's, yeah. So anyways, I'm sure him being an asshole is probably high up there
Baraka
on
has
the bingo
AIDS
card.
now. That's poor Baraka. Got outworld AIDS.
Well, Melina, yeah. So the Melina's thing is a disease. It's not a race anymore, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So anyway, whatever. We'll find
Outworld's
out.
out here dropping pause loads off of arm blades.
I mean, where there's pause loads, there's gonna be a neg ass somewhere.
Willie, do you want to hear the absolute most wretched moment of my entire public life?
Ratchet or wretched?
Wretched.
Okay.
I pulled these people out of emote mode. I made a joke about Leon being pause in the Separate Ways DLC, and a full 50% of my chat were like, Pause? What is that? What do you mean? What do you mean, what? And I had to explain it to them.
You know, pause has a whole different meaning these days, right?
No, wait, a new one? Like a genuine new one? Or
Yes,
like
there's a completely different meaning. Okay.
No,
well,
I
here.
did not know that. What is the new pause?
Okay, the new pause is basically that's what she said every time you say something gay. So anytime you say something that could be interpreted as like whatever that sounds kind of gay, you go pause, and then that's like supposed to be like a in the moment, you know,
because most people thought when I called Leon pause, I was referring to his kitty cat costume.
Okay.
And that he was a furry.
Okay.
And that I was referring to a kitty cat's paws.
Okay. Well,
no, I'm talking about AIDS.
When I say new, I mean let's break this to Pat. All right. Pause. That is to say, which is now something that's come back. If it's from 20 years ago, it was only being slung around on the internet post-COVID at the very least, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's
getting older faster.
Yeah, dude, like there's a bunch of shit that also pops up. Like I remember literally it being in high school when my brother in Christ popped up as a funny way to tag any sentence when you're gonna like go off on something,
Yeah.
and then it went away completely, and now it's back for some reason. So I can only assume like a big streamer somewhere said it, and then everyone went, "That's hilarious," and jumped in there. But no, it isn't. Anyway, whatever. I think pause came back in the lexicon from.
Is it back?
Yeah, dude, I think I think I believe that pause came back in the lexicon due to the general black podcast circuit.
Okay.
I think that's where that's where it started. Is it so back? It's so back. Yes.
It's very back.
It's more back
on
than ever.
God.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, so I usually look for a character to like fucking really attach to and like, you know, and oftentimes
Really dump all your time into.
I like if there's a character that I like, I often like that character more than the game itself in some cases.
Yeah,
I know when I want to go like my dream when I miss Persona 4 Arena, I miss Akihiko doing his windmill combos.
I know exactly how you feel about that. I know exactly what you mean.
When I miss Guilty Gear, I miss like either Baiken parries or Nago fucking blood combos and shit. Like Steve Fox, etc. When I played MK, like so even initially I remember there's always a like the first time I touch it, there's always that like I'm not sure. And then Reggie had a similar thing we kind of talked about afterwards, where it's like we only kind of after labbing and or finding somebody or seeing something interesting and kind of going, okay, I see what's going on here. Do you start to kind of see something that might be interesting to play, but like there's not that initial draw, I guess. And for me, I liked Kotal a lot when I saw him in 10 and On Your Knees, all that shit was dope. And then, you know, in 11, it was a journey down and up and all over the place. And then, Geras was all right. I thought he was a cool time character as well. And the way you fuck around with time shit is a cool thing. And he has like the best fatality as a result of like the one we talked about the other day, you know, like handing you your head and shit. And then when I went to pick him this time around, I guess it was just an initial touch, but yeah, it felt like an uphill battle with this character. Maybe I'm sure if I go look and see what people are doing with him in a like proper, more competitive context, it'll make more sense. But it felt like in a game where fucking Raiden, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and everybody are just everywhere at all times doing everything they want to. Where smoke is coming at you backwards, low, up, down, and traveling, zoning, doing whatever. Everyone has so much, and a lot of their strings are able to go together. Really simply, you're a lot able to confirm off a lot of things. It felt like Geras is like, oh, you don't get to do that at all. You are kind of stuck. You don't get to go flying across the screen that much. You have a very limited moveset that is going to be setting things up with time and getting some grapples in, playing like a grappler effectively. But a lot of the stuff that felt like more, a lot of his tools that I felt he had in the previous game, it feels like he's kind of missing here, you know? So, but again, I haven't really looked into
why'd you gravitate towards Geras instead of Kotal Khan?
Well, that would probably be because Kotal is as of yet still somewhere in a wheelchair, perhaps doing recovery and physical therapy.
I've been told that he exists in the story, but he jobs off camera.
I saw a screenshot of a line where someone said like, oh, you defeated Kotal Khan. So yeah, something to that effect, you know. I mean, look, man, that's a quick $10 they can drop on you anytime they want to, right?
No one's gonna pay $10
combined with Aaron Black and Devora and Cassie or Jackie or something, right? Yeah. Anyway, I kind of just hit that initial feeling and went like, damn, I'm not really seeing it or feeling it just off this first touch in any way. So with that, I see Kenshi, and Kenshi's like got some cool looking things with the
I've
controlling
seen some
both.
stupid Kenshi shit.
Yeah, you control the ghost, and you can do like a bunch of like nonstop mix-ups,
like,
three-way.
3 characters on screen.
Bullshit.
Like that is. I never in my life expected to see NetherRealm, aka the Mortal Kombat devs, make a character that has more pieces attacking you than BlazBlue did.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
ridiculous.
And I really just wish that like they hard committed to making the game a 2v2 though, because not only would that fully capitalize on the whole cameo system they're doing and stuff, but and 2v2, like, you don't get it that often in fighting games, but when you do, it's usually pretty good. You know, Tekken Tag is fun, and you know, again, the system in Infinite, you know, despite the game itself was really, really fun. I think if they also committed to 2v2, it would but it would justify the game's existence more with everyone who's kind of just like, why are we rebooting this again? What are we doing? Right? There's a very clear, common like sentiment out there that is like, what? Like, really? We're doing it again? You know?
Yeah, no. Liu Kang, when he recreated the universe, said Mortal Kombat is a 2v2 tournament now.
But
that's it. That's all you gotta do. It's like, no, this is the way I decided. I figured I'd mix it up a little bit.
But I think the way they're going about it is like, because this is an in-universe reboot. Well, the last one was an in-universe reboot too.
They're all in-universe reboots.
Yeah, okay. In
some cases, they're in-universe reboots.
Yes. So, okay, the first time around, it was like one of the first time anyone had ever seen an in-universe reboot, so it was like, oh, that's really cool, right? And then like Star Trek, I think, was like one of the only other examples, and that was a novel concept, definitely. But
a soft C boot.
Yeah. Whereas what we're used to is just a brand new game comes out and it just says we're doing it all over again, this time starring Andrew Garfield, right? So here, when it's like not just a in-universe reboot, but like the previous reboot was the like little memory of Raiden. It's like a little blip in Raiden's thoughts to set up the new story, and then you just kind of go from there. Here, it's actually a continuation of, you know, everything in the past because of Fire God Liu Kang, etc. So I guess the thought is it's a reboot, but because it's actually a sequel, it won't bother people as much that it's a restart. And if no one's really paying that much attention, they're kind of just like, why are we doing this? I've seen a lot of people kind of, you know, down on that part of it. Anyway, if this were a straight up 2v2, like full on, I think the game itself being a completely different format would show a reason for it to exist that was much more clear. You know, you're playing a style that you've never played before. Again, like Tekken Tag Tournament, regardless of whatever the story's doing.
I think you're completely right. However, I think that the average casual player will have their brain just fucking melt out of their ass at 2v2. I think Billy, the 13-year-old that wants to play Mortal Kombat to shoot Scorpion's spear, doesn't want to play a character other than Scorpion.
So Tekken Tag also had a thing about it where, this kind of leans into like picking two characters and learning them versus like kind of wanting to stick with what you've got. In Tekken Tag, you don't have to kill both characters for the round to end.
Yeah, Tekken Tag is the most stressful fighting game I've ever played in my life. I was like sweating every single minute I was playing that game.
If one character goes down, the round ends there, right? So if you decided to pick your main, stick with them, and never switch to your partner, you could just do that, right? It's almost like
stupid as fuck.
And it's almost like a soft groove system, right? It's almost like picking one character in Skullgirls versus the three or whatever. But because you don't get your character killed and then your next one has to run in and you're forced to control somebody that you may or may not know how to play or so, it could be softer on them. But maybe you know, I don't know. I would like to believe you could, you know, people can learn a second character that's not that. If you're putting out, okay, let's put it this way. What they went with,
wait, hold on. I think you're missing the forest for the trees. I think learning one character is beyond most casual fighting game fans.
Yes. But here's where I'm going, right? The things they decided to pull out of the idea of a 2v2 with the cameo system are the most complex parts already. the Marvel jump in assist while you continue to fight two at the same time thing is way more complicated than switching from A to B, right? So KOF style switching from A to B is a much more simple version of things than the learn how to fight two things at the same time. And they went with the more complex one, you know? So
I don't think it's more complex. I think hitting a single button to have the assist come in is a lot simpler than having a whole second character to deal with.
In terms
like
of, in terms of how
the
to
standard,
use it, but
because
I
like
don't
the
think in
standard
terms of,
like way you would use a cameo seems to be do 4 hits your combo, have the cameo come out to extend it, do 4 hits your combo, have the cameo come out to extend it, and then finish your combo.
yeah, and that's kind of what it ended up being in other games, like, you know, like Dragon Ball, for example. But remember how the initial conversation we had about Dragon Ball was about how, like, you were uncomfortable with, like, how much tag mechanics would, like, be really hard to manage because
No, I'm trash at all tag assist games.
And so, that's not just a you thing as well. Like, multiple people have definitely felt the stress of more than one character jumps out on the screen at the same time. Not just a combo extender, but like literally out of neutral, we're fighting, and then suddenly Sonya's covering the high, and I'm coming in low, and it's like it does overwhelm people a lot regularly. So that part of the game, which is a huge part of the game, because the assist doesn't just come in as a combo extender. They're coming in all the time doing different things. They're coming in after you throw. They're coming in with every...
We need somebody who doesn't know how to play Mortal Kombat to weigh in on this discussion. We need like a neophyte that's just like, I want to shoot the ice ball.
I guess to simplify, the of all the things you could have pulled in with having a second character, the ones that they did go with are the ones that make the game the hardest for a new person to handle, right? 3 characters coming at you at the same time is a very difficult thing to handle.
I have to agree. The mix of not tagging, but then also the stupid Kenshi shit, or like Frost pushing you all the way to the end of the screen, like that seems fucked. Yeah. That's a lot of crazy shit you have available.
Right, and then there's assists that come out and hurt you and the opponent at the same time.
Really?
Yes, there's assists that are... And not only that, when you go to the tutorial, there's assists that are meant to be only used... how do I describe it? Some assists come out independently of whatever you're doing, and you move around freely, and they do their thing freely. And some assists, you have to stop, taunt, and then they come in, right?
Okay.
And they have different utility that the game tries to teach you about, which is, again, complicated, you know? So, like, they've already committed to a really, like, out there mix-up heavy thing. I kind of am just like, yeah, like, if you made it, like, having 2 characters together or whatever the case would be, it would kind of justify the game's existence a little stronger. Plus, it might be a little bit more of a, like... whatever you have to do with the story in a reboot setting, you know, if you had a Tekken tag style, like almost not dream match, but like we're clearly changing this up. The game is different. The formula is different. It's Mortal Kombat, but also new things are happening.
Hey, I have a quick question. In the $50 DLC thing that has the extra characters, do cameos also appear in that?
Yes, so I think it lists a bunch. It lists 5 characters and whatever cameos come out as well.
How cynical is it to imagine that one of the big reasons for the cameo system is so that they could use cameos to inflate the cost of the DLC?
1,000,000%, absolutely. And
wait, 1,000,000% cynical, or like?
Oh, they're absolute. When I look at the cameo system and I see all the old roster there, I see that as a very simple, effective way of going, look, it's your faves. They're here. They're not really here, but they're here. Don't you want them? Shell out.
It's like Cyrax is there, but he's not there.
Yeah, shell out. But you're going to sell out because he's there. And what does he have? He's got his 3 moves, right? Yeah. He's got his fatality, because you can do a fatality with just your assist. And he's a part of the game without being actually, you know? So it's more than enough if you're a Cyrax fan to have him come out, do his bomb fatality, do his web, do his grenade thing, and do his hidden missiles. Like, yeah, that's all I wanted to see, you know? I got my get over here. I got my freeze. I got my and I'm good, you know? Like, so that's kind of the deal, is like, if you look at each of these characters as 3 or 4 moves and fatalities, you're buying that in the cameo. You're getting the most like casual, what exactly the person wants version of events. Like that's part of that price for sure. It sucks. It's absolutely, again, it's bullshit, and it's bilking. But they're definitely treating it that way. And anyone who's like, I want X or Y, why aren't they in the game or whatever, is gonna be like, well, here's your cameo version, deal with it, you know. Yeah. So, tag team fatalities, if that were a thing, I'm sure that'd be awesome. Like, that'd be a fun thing to sell as well, you know, if you went with full 2v2s and stuff. But there's tag team X-rays that are Street Fighter Cross Tekken style. So, anyway, yeah, that's kind of how I felt, you know. I was just like, man, I sure do not like not having the ability to jump into a lobby and right off the bat.
You know, I'll be honest, I was like genuinely thinking of hopping into MK1 and doing the story mode, and finding out that Shang Tsung is full $10. It's just, oh, that one hurts. That one's ridiculous.
He appears to be a Zeku style character of switching between old and young and copying the opponent and stuff.
How about that Switch version though, man?
Yeah.
How about that Switch version?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think kudos to them for having the practice and tutorials under a section called Learn on the main menu. You know, that's a bold choice. I like it. I like the I mean, yeah, I like the amount of banter between, you know, the Mortal Kombat pre-fight banter is a fun bit that's gotten to become a staple in the recent years. The little clash and then the fight starts. That stuff is seems to be still intact and pretty good. What was it? There was one. I forgot what it was, but I want to say like Sindel versus like Rain or something, where he's like, "Oh, like I'll defeat you with the power of water" or something, and she just laughs at him. It's just like, you know, there's little quips like that are like fun. Yeah, I fucking I can't. I look at the money on this thing, and it just seems insane to me. And the features that are missing there as well. And again, we'll see what story mode has to hold, you know, but this feeling that, you know, we're kind of pushing the game out a little feature incomplete, and charging a fuck ton for that feature incomplete version of it is just, that sucks, man. Anyway, yeah, offline is the only place you get the banter. Online, you don't get it at all. I heard about that. When you queue up with people, it just goes right into the match. You don't even get to have that little character select screens clash, because it's a transition. The banter is a transition from the character select screen to the fight. But if you just queue up, you don't get it.
But that's cool.
It is cool. It's a bummer. Anyway, that's
I'm mad that Street Fighter and shit like that doesn't have more stuff like that. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I still miss fucking Ken and Ryu bumping fists.
Yeah. CVS, man. Capcom versus SNK with the unique intros across the board. And I've always, you know, talked about, even in the most lazy form, SVC Chaos, you just read some text between the characters. At least it's a little bit of personality where there was none, you know? Win quotes are all fine and dandy, and you can get some personalized someone talking shit about someone else there, and I like that, but it's nice to see it with the characters before the fight and the interactions, you know?